Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg here in Las Vegas. Good morning, Hank.
Hey, how you doing, Jim? How's poker going?
Well, it was a long night. Played about 13 hours. Draining process. Played well. It's tough. Great events. The World Series of Poker and all the venues here in Las Vegas have big games going on and lots of great tournaments. The next 2 months in Las Vegas, there's got to be close to 500,000, 700,000 poker players that come to town to play in these things. It's amazing. So anyway, the basketball game last night was quite interesting. Toronto showed up, and they showed up well. Leonard played a solid game. Siakam was incredible. Gasol was very solid. And Golden State was Golden State. I mean, they play hard, they play well, they were in the game. There was no blowout or anything, but they turned the ball over like 17 times, which is kind of sloppy.
Yeah, I don't agree that Golden State was Golden State. I mean, they came out, did not shoot particularly well early. They turned the ball over 17 times. That's not Golden State. And they did not get back on defense. And, guys, Siakam made 11 straight baskets. That's not Golden State. I mean, Golden State is good on defense. I'll tell you what's clear with Golden State. They missed their top guy. They missed him on defense. They missed him on the one thing that Golden State did last night was that they got some second shots, and that's what kept them in the game. And they got to the free throw line and didn't miss a foul shot, and that's what kept them in the game. But they did not shoot particularly well. And Draymond Green had a terrible game, and he had been playing so well going into last night. I don't think that was Golden State's normal game, and I think that after 10 or 11 days off, they needed a game.
Well, that's true. The rust did show up. You'll see. I think you'll see a better defensive effort from them in Game 2. They'll have to because this other team has talent, and you're going to have to step up. You're not going to turn the ball over, and you have to play defense. So it'll be a different game.
Siakam made 11 straight shots. That hadn't been done in 20 years in a playoff game.
I guarantee you won't see a repeat performance of that.
No, but he's been pretty good. I'll tell you something. They did well without Leonard last night. He didn't contribute much. He only took 14 shots.
And he had what do you have, 23 points or something like that? He did a lot. He played good defense.
And he did. I watched the game. He didn't do very much at all. It was the other two guys that carried him. Most of his shots were he got to the free throw line a few times, but he was not much of a factor on the floor last night at all. It was the other two guys that really carried him. Gasol was hot. He was making shots from the early part of the game on, and Siakam. And Van Vliet again came through. He was distributing the ball well, and he was good on defense. But Leonard looked a little sore to me. He wasn't running the floor all that well. They gave him a considerable rest, and he was not a key factor in the game.
I'm looking forward to Sunday's game. I mean, this is going to be the adjustments that these coaches make. Kerr is a master of that. He knows how to make adjustments. And what do you got going in baseball? What do you see going on in the? I mean, the weather is really good today. The wind isn't terrible, and there's not a lot of rain. I don't think there's any rain actually, which we haven't had.
Well, Yankees and Red Sox got rained out yesterday.
They did. Big Sale and Hap, and then they're going to repeat that one today. That's a big 4-game set. That's an important set.
Yeah.
Anything on the card today is really exciting, Hank?
Well, Philadelphia and Los Angeles is That's a pretty good matchup. Although Philadelphia has showed a little bit, but Arrieta goes for them against Maida, and Colorado's on a little bit of a winning streak. Milwaukee drove Pittsburgh yesterday. They play again today. Pittsburgh's Archer is trying to get going. He has not pitched well at all for them. Cubs, St. Louis is a fairly good matchup. That's about it.
Should be a good weekend of sports. Anything you want to talk about in horse racing?
No, Owendale is. They decided not to run him in the Belmont, and because they didn't think he was suited for the 1.5 miles, so they're shooting for the Ohio Derby with him, which is not as long a race, and they think he has a better chance there. So they're down to 9 races right now, and Baffert is decided, not to run Game Winner in the Belmont. He's going to send him to the, I think, to the Travers. He may have 2 horses going in the Travers, and that's where that's at. So, they changed the dates on the big 3-year-old races this year, and there's a lot of time between the Haskell and the Travers. The Haskell is in July, a little earlier this year, and the Travers is not until the 24th of August. So horses can run in both of those races. And so actually the 3-year-old picture has really been taken away from the Belmont. The horsemen don't want to run the horses for 1.5 miles. They've never, they have to do that probably once in their lives. And it doesn't have that much impact on breeding. And, unless there's a triple crown involved or some kind of rivalry involved, there is no rivalry race right now except for the top 2 horses. And that's Tacitus and the horse that, that won the Preakness. So, and one will be 7-5 and the other, or one will be 6-5 and the other will be maybe 7-5. So it's not going to be a great race to make money on.
No,
but
sure.
The big 3-year-old races will come later on in the summer. The Pacific Classic will attract the big West Coast horses. That's on the 17th of August. 24th of August will be the Travers. That'll be the big summer race. And then, of course, you'll have the Haskell, which will feature, the horse that was disqualified in the Derby.
Yeah, War of Will. That'll be interesting.
War of Will is the horse that's going to run in the Belmont. He'll be the second choice there.
Right.
Maximum Security is the horse that's going to run in the the Haskell.
Okay, gotcha. The WNBA has 3 games scheduled for today. I know a lot of people don't follow it, but there is money to be made in that league. And Atlanta's 6.5-point favorite at home against Seattle. Vegas is on the road at Phoenix. They're a 1-point favorite on the road. And Connecticut is at Los Angeles, and Los Angeles opened 2 and it's down to 1. So Los Angeles 1-point favorite at home against Connecticut. So that's a league where you can make some money if you have a handicapper that follows it. And I know Hank and I always have opinions on stuff like this, and I've done so far so good. And we'll have some plays this weekend on the WNBA as well as baseball. And
don't forget the Stanley Cup. St. Louis came through with an overtime win. I had the under in the game, and it was 2-2 at the first period, and I thought I was dead meat. And they went overtime. Nobody scored in the second or third periods, and so I got my under bet in and won. And I didn't think I had a chance. But Boston's got a couple of problems. One of them is that their ace defenseman is in the concussion syndrome and won't be able to play as the series moves to St. Louis, and St. Louis got their win on Boston's ice, so suddenly that's a series.
Yeah, it is a series. Well, this is going to be interesting. Personally, I'm really looking forward to this Yankee-Boston matchup this weekend, and then, of course, the playoffs and the NBA playoffs. That's going to be exciting. Anything that you see that's coming up on the horizon that we should be excited about?
Well, the hockey game is going to be very interesting. That's Saturday. And then Sunday, they moved the time up by an hour on the basketball game. So, things you mentioned about the NBA and can Golden State come back, I'll tell you one thing. If they can get their key guy back, they're going to need him in this series. They miss him defensively. They miss him. One thing about Siakam, he would not be scoring like this against him. He gives him some size, and he would be able to defend Siakam. Siakam would not be scoring 11 straight baskets if he was playing. And this is the series where they're going to need him. And I don't know if they're going to force him into Game 2 or not. Probably not. He probably won't be ready to play until Game 3, and how effective he's going to be is highly questionable.
Yeah, Boogie Cousins got on the floor last night, but he wasn't very effective. I don't know if he'll improve. He's been off for a long time also, so I think...
He got hurt again, too.
Wow.
Well, he's okay, but he pulled up in the fourth quarter. But he was 0 for 4 from 3 points, and he was helpful somewhat on the boards and got them a lot of second time points, which kept them in the game.
Well, Steve Kerr's going to make some adjustments. He's always done so. He's very good at what he does. But I agree that Durant would make a difference, gives him more depth, and an extremely talented player. Of course, you don't know what kind of shape he'll be in once he's on the floor either, so that's another issue. But Toronto looks legitimate, and unless Golden State steps up their defense and plays like we know they can, so they go down 0-2. If they go down 0-2 going back home, they just have to hold court. This could be a longer series than a lot of people thought it would be if that happens. But all they have to do is win their home games and then break one on the road. It doesn't have to be number 1 or 2. Just any of the 4 games that are played there, as long as they get home court. So it should be very, very interesting. But it looks like we might have a long series.
Well, people are going to overreact to Game 1. There's some school of thought that says that the 10 or 11 day layoff, whatever it was, really hurt Golden State. They never really got a long run. They came to within 3 points in the second half, and but they just couldn't. They couldn't stop Siakam. He just killed him.
Yeah, he's an amazing talent. But
yeah, he went 6 for 6 in the third quarter.
That's incredible. I've seen him play quite a bit in the playoffs, and I didn't see that coming. I did not see him doing that. But that was an incredible night for him. But he is a great talent.
Well, nobody's ever done what he did.
No.
in 20 years.
Right.
If you saw it coming, you're a miracle man.
Might have seen that from something like Larry Bird or somebody like that back in the day.
I don't think Golden State saw it coming either.
They got to remember that he's on the court this time.
Well, he was. The big question was, Draymond Green was supposed to be defending him, and Green got into foul trouble. He was on the bench for a considerable amount of time in both halves because he got in foul trouble early in the first half, and he had 4 fouls early in the third quarter. So he was a real non-factor in the game, and they need him to be a factor.
I agree. Well, Hank, you have a great weekend. I look forward to what's going on this weekend. I know you and I will have our plays up at jimfice.com. We'll talk again on Monday. And if there's nothing else, we'll just say goodbye for today, and we'll catch up with you on Monday.
What time are you back on the poker table?
I go back later tonight, 5 o'clock.
Okay, you can get some rest. I'll let you go.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks.